Hello and welcome to this week's Goddess Asteroid and Gene Keys podcast, a synthesis of astrology and the gene keys, so we can understand what's going on in the world event stage, if you like, in the bigger cosmic picture. So what I'm going to be doing today, I'm actually recording this on the 17th, but I want to focus on the full moon, which is coming up on Wednesday. It kind of follows in a really powerful month. The new moon began this kind of whole sequence of a Sun-Mars conjunction, which was imprinting for the next couple of years, and then followed on directly with that with the 6th of Venus ascending gate, which was an activation of the Ajna center. And we're nearing the completion of that cycle coming up in November. And then it kind of, we're heading towards the inferior conjunction in January. So I'm going to be talking quite a bit about Venus, because I'm really starting to get a bigger picture of what's happening with Venus at the moment. And I'm also going to be creating on Soul Tribe Online, where I teach astrology. I'm going to be creating an inner sanctuary of Venus and the moon, beginning to move with this new cycle in January. So it's all feeling like very tangible, how to work with this new energy. And we're going to look at what is going on with the Goddess Asteroids, of course, as well, who are the main kind of way we can perceive the transmission of the divine feminine at this time. Okay, so I'm going to share the full moon chart. Let's just go a little bit smaller on that so you can see the whole thing, hopefully. Okay, so here we are, and we can see that when it's a full moon, I'll just pick up my little tool here. I do love Zoom. What we have is the sun is going to be at 27 degrees Libra, 26 minutes. And here opposite, we can see the moon is at 27 degrees Aries, 26 minutes. And I've drawn in the symbol of the earth, which at a full moon, the moon and the earth are always conjunct, and the earth is always opposite the sun, in astrology. Okay, so this is a really important axis here. Well, it's the Libra Aries axis, first of all. So let's talk about that in astrological terms. Aries is all about the self and the individuality, and Libra is all about the other and relationships. So this is a really important axis. It's like a central axis to reciprocity in a way, and to really understanding the kind of balance that we need to have in a relationship in this time we're living in. Perhaps not so true for our ancestors, but if you're watching this, chances are this kind of balance of self, individuality is really important with, kind of adjusting to the other, being with the other. And it's kind of at the crux, I feel, as an astrologer who does a lot of relationship work. This is often the key to finding the balance here. Okay, then the sun is at gene key 50, line 2. So gene key 50 has the shadow of corruption. It has the gift of equilibrium and the city of harmony. Now, this gene key 50 is absolutely really important in the whole unfolding Venus cycle, actually going up to 2034. And what is happening with this Venus cycles is it's shifting from the Venus star points, which are the Venus Sun conjunctions, basically create these star points, and they're going to be moving out of the sign of Scorpio and into the sign of Libra. Now we are actually in this cycle at the moment, and where it's leading to is in October, in fact 22nd of October 2022, which is a beautiful numerology around it. This Venus star point that's going to begin this whole new sequence in Libra, which is really about humanity being much more interested in sharing, in working together. So it's going to be really shaping our human field very powerfully. And this happens at gene key 50, line 4, which is the heart line. So it really feels to me, just kind of because of the way all the information has flowed to me as I've been preparing at this, that actually this full moon is, if you like, a little flashpoint of what's going to be unfolding in the future. So just to refer to my notes, so once we've got this Libra new Venus star point at 29 degrees Libra in October, there's then a crossover with the Scorpio Venus star points leading. So the last one is actually going to be on October 23rd, 2026, and at 0 degrees Scorpio, 45 minutes. And this is actually also in gene key 50. It's either line 5 or 6, one or the other. But it's all moving within this gene key 50. And then there's another one, 21st of October 2034, which is a really important one. And this is at 28 Libra. So again, it's in this 50 field. And the programming partner is gene key 3, opposite, where the moon and the earth are at this full moon coming up on Wednesday. So let me say a little bit about my understanding of gene key 50 and the shadow of corruption. Well, we kind of tend to project it onto the big companies, you know, the corporations, the politicians. And yes, there is a lot of corruption, and you know, with Pluto in Capricorn at the moment, we're definitely unrooting a lot of corruption within our institutions. But how might we, because we can't really do anything about that, but what we can do something about is the corruption of our own field. And this brings me, this is kind of the biggest field I've worked on with corruption, is to do with innocence. And this is the Siddhi of gene key 3, innocence. So the shadow is chaos and corruption. You can see that when there's corruption within the system, it starts to break down. It starts to not work properly, whether that's the body, the mental, emotional bodies, or whether that's you know, social services or the police or the government. We can see these shadows at play. Then we have the gift of innovation through the three. And innovation to me is, it's open, it's playful, it's willing to experiment. In some way, it's transcended the kind of ego's need to control everything and play it safe. You know, innovation is, let's go try something new. Let's go to a new class. Let's, you know, try out a new online thing. Maybe we've never done an online thing before. You know, just go and try it out. If you don't like it, you never have to do it again. But we can get so stuck in our patterns. Okay, and Gene Key 3 is called Through the Eyes of the Child. And Gene Key 50 is called Cosmic Order. So, you know, this is one of Jesus's most beautiful teachings to me, that we enter heaven through the eyes of the child. And this is something, you know, I've kind of worked on a lot in my life, and I've been with other people working on this field, mostly around the sexual corruption as a child of sexual energy. Being kind of groomed into being what people need. So just excuse that in the background, my telephone ringing. I'm sure it'll go away. And yes, so being groomed to what people need, but that's a kind of quite extreme thing. Although having said that, I do know of so many people who've in some way had that experience. But think of other ways we're being groomed. You know, we're being groomed as white people to believe that we are, you know, superior, privileged, for example. If you're heterosexual, you are groomed to believe that's the natural state of being, especially if you belong to a religion, and to kind of look down on gay, lesbian, queer people as kind of other. So all the time we've got this kind of grooming. You know, we're being groomed to by the media to buy things, to place our idea of value on purchasing things, on living in a certain way. So these are all corruptions of our field in one way or another. Anything that really takes us away from our innocence is a corruption of the field. And so we can see that Venus is going to be assisting us over these next years to really start to, if we want to, I mean, we can completely ignore it all if we want to, but it is a really beautiful feeling to be in your innocence and to kind of just be natural, be not totally, for me, you know, obviously things get triggered, but to be more free from fear and from manipulation that is so kind of casual and random in our world. It's kind of scary how casual and random it is. Okay, so just to end on that full moon, I wanted to read, this is an Aramaic translation of one of the Beatitudes, which is "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." I'm going to say it in Aramaic to the best of my ability because I love the sound of the words. Tub vaichon, lama kike dinon nertan arha. Blessed are the gentle, they shall inherit the earth. Healthy are those who have softened what is rigid within, they shall receive physical vigor and strength from the universe. Aligned with the one are the humble, those submitted to God's will. They shall be gifted with the productivity of the earth. Healed are those who have wept inwardly with the pain of repressed desire. They shall be renewed in sympathy with nature. Integrated, resisting corruption, are those who have dissolved heavy morality within. They shall be open to receive the splendor of earth's fruits. So I just love that, and that speaks to me of this 350 line so powerfully. You know, integrated, resisting corruption are those who have dissolved heavy morality within. Wow, you know, and that to me is that innocence when you stop judging yourself. Okay, so talking of judging yourself, let's have a look at Hygeia here. She's traveling with Mercury at the moment. She's very important in this new phase that's being imprinted, which is about finding our own natural rhythm, and perhaps also finding a group in which our natural rhythm can kind of find a more powerful natural rhythm together with others. So Hygeia at the moment is in Gene Key 18, line 2, and this is the shadow is judgment, judging ourselves, judging other people. The gift is integrity, and the siddhi is perfection. So again, we hear this word integrity. So this follows, I feel, very beautifully from our last, what we were talking about with the full moon. Because integrity, even though Gene Key 18 is a very mental level Gene Key, I feel integrity is also like a feeling. You know, as soon as I feel out of kilter, one of the questions I ask myself is, am I being in my integrity here? Am I really honoring myself? Or am I honoring others as well? You know, maybe I feel uncomfortable, I'm doing something, and I think, oh, am I really honoring somebody else in doing that? You know, I work really hard actually to give you original material. I feel it lacks integrity to go and take other people's material and use it without acknowledging them. And of course, sometimes you will inadvertently do that, you know, because you're listening to other people all the time and you're picking things up from them. But, you know, that's just one example for me. So Hygeia is asking us to really say, what is our integrity as far as our rhythm goes? You know, and this can be about maybe forcing ourselves to do things because we feel maybe even unspoken pressure from other people, from our culture, to respond in certain ways. But we kind of know it's not quite right for what we should do in the moment. One thing that's sort of springing to mind here is maybe when you have a mobility problem or some kind of disability, but you feel this pressure to be at the same level as everyone else, you know, so you kind of push yourself and maybe inside you're kind of berating yourself, you're judging yourself for not meeting like a standard that you've set in your mind. And this can actually throw you completely out of your own rhythm. you know. So Hygeia is asking us to not do that, to really honor ourselves and say, okay, well, this is what I can do at this moment in time. So I'm going to really honor that. I'm going to honor my body. I'm going to honor my feelings, and maybe I can do some part of what you'd like me to do, but I'm going to say no to what I can't do. And if you think badly of me, tough, you know. So that's quite hard, isn't it, to, you know, to kind of push back against that kind of social pressure, or maybe pressure from our parents or friends to be a certain way. Okay, so that's Hygeia there. Let's have a look here. Yeah, so here on this axis, we actually have Vesta at the moment is in Jinki 1. This is pure yang. It's the heaven energy. So that's quite exciting, because I'm feeling like Vesta as the priestess, as the one who creates intention, and she's about finding our inner authority. So here she is. This is the gate of power of Scorpio, 15 degrees. And she's in this pure yang energy, pure intention. You know, when we create from this place of innocence, then what we create is also innocence. It has integrity. It has perfect harmony, because it's not created from a place of fear or corruption or whatever. And here opposite we have Uranus is transiting Jinki 2 at the moment, and this is pure yin energy, the mother, the divine feminine. And Uranus is the liberator, and so when it's in Jinki 2 here, it's opening up this divine feminine channel. It's challenging maybe like old patriarchal ways of organizing or doing things, and it's saying, hey, let's find the natural rhythm. Let's not force, let's not push anymore. Let's find the natural rhythm. Let's work with the natural vitality, life force energy of our earth and our cosmos. And that way, you know what, we're going to have masses of energy because we're not fighting and against a tide in a way. We're not trying to swim against the natural energy. And 1 and 2, Jinkies 1 and 2 are very linked to 3, because from pure yang and pure yin is from the mother and the father is born the child, which is Jinki 3. And of course this is a very central concept in alchemy as well. Okay, so let's talk a bit about Chiron. Now, what Chiron's doing is really interesting. So Chiron is in Aries at the moment, and Chiron in Aries has a really strong desire for individuality. You know, so this is children born in the 1970s. I was born in 1970. But we have Aries going all the way right through till 1977, when Chiron was actually discovered in the early part of Taurus in 1977. And this is a generation that is seeding the importance of individuality within the whole project of equilibrium and harmony. And it's quite interesting for me about how East and West have kind of been developing different things. In the West, we've had very individualized cultures and societies. In the East, we've had a much more collective idea. You know, if we look at the old Soviet bloc, for example, there was a lot of emphasis on the collective, but not on the individual. And my feeling is, and I've forgotten exactly where Berolina, she's one of the asteroids. I think she's conjunct the full moon because I spotted her yesterday. And she, for me, is a uniting of the East and the West. There's a statue of her in Berlin, Berolina. And what we're getting now is this merging of East and West. And through this, we're finding the equilibrium again, because we need to have both the individualism, but also the collective idea. And when these things come together, we're going to have a really amazing society that values both the individual, but also the collective and equality and a non-hierarchical way of being. And the center of this non-hierarchical way of being is the valuing of individuality. And so the children of the 70s, the Chiron in Aries ones, are the kind of bringers of this kind of energy. So what's really interesting is that you can see here that Chiron is going retrograde, and it's been well, it's right on the edge at the full moon. It's like within minutes of moving from 21 line 1 back into Gene Key 17. So let me just give you the keywords for those. So 21, where it is control, authority and valor. And then it's moving back into 17, which is opinion, farsightedness and omniscience, being able to see the whole picture. So if you had your Chiron return when you were 50, like me, born in 1970, last year, well, the good news is you're having another Chiron return. It's like, wow, that's amazing, because it's actually going to go all the way back to 8 degrees Chiron, and that is you know, Gene Key 17. So if your Chiron is kind of 8-9 degrees Aries, you may be having this experience, and it's like, whoa, the first one was really powerful. So what happens when you have your second Chiron return? I'm going to wait and see what happens this week. I have got some really good meetings coming up, so that's good. Okay, so that's Chiron there, very exciting, especially if you're a 1970s baby. Okay, Pallas Athena there, just to run through her. Pallas Athena is the warrior goddess. She's in Pisces at the moment, which is the real bodhisattva energy, you know, learning rather than fighting back, taking revenge, is to find that place of compassion within yourself for why people are doing what they're doing. You know, normally it's because they're really wounded. Everything really comes from woundedness, from this corruption of the field we've been talking about. So when we can really see that, we have clarity about that, it can really help to find that place of compassion. And Gene Key 37 is about weakness, is the shadow, equality is the gift, and tenderness, which is one of my favorites, is the city. So yeah, Pallas Athena in her highest Piscean frequency is this tenderness, you know, that can disarm a whole army at that peak experience. And this is the one, Gene Key, that's linked to the family as well. So maybe, you know, there might be things going on around the strength of women in the family, you know, or men playing different roles within the family, maybe taking on Pallas Athena roles within the family. Could be all sorts of different things. The Aquarian family, which is much more of a kind of gender fluid concept. Okay, as we skate past Jupiter's in Gene Key 49, line 4, that is actually going direct, will be stationary Monday, so it's just gone direct. And we also have Saturn direct now. We also have Pluto direct. Saturn's in Gene Key 41, line 6. Pluto is in 61, line 4. So these are powerful like activations that will affect all of us. So if you have these as programming partners, or they're part of your activate or part of your profile, then they're going to be strongly activated by these planets right now. We still have Uranus and Neptune, Chiron are still going retrograde, but we're moving out now of that really, you know, uncovering of everything that is hidden. Okay, so just a couple more things to go. It's quite interesting this week. There's quite a few things that are right on the cusp, kind of within minutes of changing gene keys. So here we have Astraea. She's the goddess of the new golden age. She's bringing in us a higher frequency of sensitivity. She's also associated with the sacred arts. She's there at 3 degrees of Capricorn this week. And this is Gene Key 10, line 6. But it's also just about to move into Gene Key 58, line 1. So I might have said that the wrong way round, whichever one comes first. So it's on this kind of crossover path. Gene Key 10 is about being at ease. The gift is naturalness. The city is being, just being. And again, that brings me back to innocence again, because when you're in a state of innocence, you are just being. You're not overthinking things. You're not worrying about things. You know, look at young children. They only start to get all that kind of self-doubt when they get older. When they're little, they just play. You know, they just enjoy the world. They don't think, is this the right thing to play? You know, they just do it. And that's how we're all trying to get back to that state of innocence. 58. Oh, I haven't written that one down. I can't quite remember. Okay, so we're going to finish on what's going on with Venus. So I talked at the beginning about how I think this full moon is like a flashpoint of the energy that's going to come with all these Venus star points that are going to happen in Gene Key 50, leading up to 2034 actually. So some really important transitions as we move from the Scorpio star points into the Libran star points. So it's very interesting to look as I was thinking, well, I wonder where Venus is at the moment. And she is at 14 degrees Sagittarius. Now this is a really important point. It's called the Great Attractor Field. And along with the Galactic Center, which is around 26, 27 degrees Sagittarius, and in between them is this amazing field of creation. you know, we don't know exactly how it works. But it's really interesting when you read up on this great attractor. It's like, wow, you know, what is happening out there in space? You know, how are new worlds, new molecules are created in this part of space? And Venus is there right now, picking it all up in her, through her neutrinos, which will channel that into our Venus feeling body. And then we have Juno here. Oh, sorry, let me just say Venus is in Gene Key 5, line 4, which is the ending of time. It's the shadow of impatience, the gift of patience, and the city of timelessness. And if there's one gift that has really turned my life around in the last few years, it's patience. So have some patience, you know. We all need it, really, we do. It's yeah, it's a really good thing to have and develop in ourselves. Yeah, and then we have Juno is here. She's 7 degrees away from Venus, which is Venus's number is 7. And we have her kind of in between the great attractor and the galactic center. So she's in this field of creation. And Juno is all about the sacred marriage, the equality of male and female, the creating of harmony of male and female. So again, she kind of brings us back to this theme, I feel, of Gene Key 50, where the sun is going to be at the full moon, which is this equilibrium, you know, the equilibrium of the yin and the yang. This is at the basis of all sacred teachings. And it's a field that's been highly corrupted, you know, so until the divine feminine is honored, acknowledged, has her place again with the divine masculine, then in this field we create equilibrium and we create harmony. And once we've created harmony, equilibrium between men and women, then it'll follow into every sphere of life, into races, you know, because it all begins with this male and female inequality, and it kind of spirals out in the corruption field from there. So if we simply honor each other, if we simply honor the natural rhythms, we're honoring the divine feminine. When we honor the earth, her creatures, her plants, her humans, then we are honoring the divine feminine. So it's been quite a lot to say today, but I really wanted to share with you about this long-term Venus thing that's going on. So yeah, embrace Venus. And as I say, I'm working towards a sanctuary, inner sanctuary that you can come and join. It'll be, you know, quite a long-term thing, but people can join whenever they want and leave whenever they want, to follow the pathway of Venus, to learn her mysteries, to see what goes on in each of these Venus star points and gates, and to figure out the story, you know. And yeah, so it's going to be really beautiful, kind of ceremonial as well. So stay tuned if you're interested in that. You can email me if you're interested, and if you're interested in one-to-one readings with me, my email address is astroalison@gmail.com, and I'll post that in the link in the little description below, along with the reference to the book I read. So namaste, go in peace.